The Cobbler and the Flying Shoes. In a small, remote village nestled between green hills, lived Noah, a humble cobbler who earned just enough to get by. His shop was small, with a single window, and the scent of leather and polish always lingered in the air. Despite his poverty, Noah was known for his generosity, especially towards the children in the village. Every time a child would bring him a worn-out pair of shoes, he would fix them for free, offering a kind word or a laugh as he worked. Noah never asked for payment, as he believed that good deeds would eventually find their way back to him. The children adored him, and the villagers often wondered how he managed to remain so kind-hearted despite his difficult circumstances. But Noah never complained. He was content with the little he had, finding joy in helping others. One evening, just as the sun was beginning to set and Noah was finishing a particularly difficult pair of shoes, a mysterious figure appeared at the door. A woman, cloaked in a dark robe, stepped into the shop. Her eyes sparkled with a knowing look, and her voice was gentle but commanding. "I've heard of your kindness, Noah," she said, her gaze fixed on him. "I have something for you." Noah looked up, confused but intrigued. The woman reached into her cloak and pulled out a small, ornate box. She opened it, revealing a pair of shoes unlike any Noah had ever seen. They were made of soft, glistening leather, with intricate golden patterns woven into them. The shoes seemed to shimmer with a faint light, and Noah could feel a strange energy radiating from them. "These shoes," the woman continued, "are no ordinary shoes. They can carry you through the skies, across mountains and valleys. Use them wisely, and they will help you bring aid to those in need." Noah, still bewildered, took the shoes from the woman. She smiled, her eyes twinkling mysteriously. "Remember, Noah," she said, "use them for good, and you will never be alone. Help those who cannot help themselves." With that, the woman turned and disappeared into the night, leaving Noah standing in his little shop with the magical shoes in his hands. He was unsure what to make of it, but deep down, he knew that something extraordinary was about to unfold. The next morning, Noah could hardly contain his excitement and curiosity. He knew the shoes were magical, but could they really fly? He hesitated for a moment, then decided to give it a try. He slipped his feet into the shoes, feeling a surge of warmth and energy flow through his body. The shoes felt surprisingly comfortable, as if they had been made just for him. Taking a deep breath, Noah took a step forward. To his amazement, the shoes lifted him off the ground. He stumbled, his heart racing, but soon he found himself floating above his workshop, soaring higher and higher into the sky. The sensation was unlike anything he had ever experienced. He could feel the wind rushing past him as he flew over the village, the hills, and the nearby forests. The world below looked smaller and smaller, and Noah felt a sense of freedom he had never known before. After a few moments of flying, Noah grew more confident. He directed the shoes towards the mountains in the distance. The shoes obeyed his every command, carrying him swiftly and effortlessly across the jagged peaks. He marveled at the view from above, the snow-capped mountains sparkling in the sunlight. As he flew, Noah realized that the shoes were not just a gift, they were a responsibility. The journey ahead would not be easy. But he knew that with this magical gift, he could make a difference. Noah's first destination was a small village perched on the edge of the mountains. The villagers had been struggling with a terrible drought, and their crops had failed. There was no food, and the people were growing weaker by the day. Noah had heard of their plight through a passing merchant and decided to use the shoes to bring them much-needed aid. He landed softly in the center of the village, his shoes glowing brightly as he touched the ground. The villagers stared in awe as he removed the shoes and began to unpack the supplies he had brought: bags of grain, jars of honey, and medicinal herbs. At first, the villagers were hesitant, unsure of where the supplies had come from. But when Noah explained that he had flown to the mountains to gather the goods, they were overwhelmed with gratitude. "You're a blessing to us, Noah," one of the elders cried. "We were beginning to lose hope. How can we ever repay you?" Noah smiled humbly. "I ask for nothing in return. Just promise me that you will help one another and share what you have with those in need." The villagers nodded, and Noah's heart swelled with joy. He knew that his journey had only just begun, and that there were many more people in need of help. As Noah continued his travels, he came across a small hut hidden deep in the forest. Inside, he found a healer named Alara, who had been living alone for many years. She was known for her knowledge of rare herbs and potions, but her isolation had left her weary and lonely. Alara had heard of the magical shoes and had long wished for the ability to travel beyond the forest to help those who were suffering. She had been unable to leave, as the forest was full of dangerous creatures and treacherous paths. When Noah arrived with his flying shoes, Alara's eyes widened in disbelief. You have the shoes," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I've heard legends of them, but I never thought I would meet someone who had them." Noah explained how the shoes had been given to him and how they had helped him travel to different villages. Alara, moved by his kindness, asked if she could join him on his journey. With a smile, Noah offered her a pair of shoes, enchanted just for her. Together, they flew across the skies, bringing medicine and healing to those who needed it most. Months passed, and Noah's reputation as a kind-hearted hero spread far and wide. People came from all over to seek his help, and with Alara by his side, he was able to bring aid to countless villages and families in need. One day, as Noah was flying over a dense forest, he spotted a familiar figure below, the mysterious woman who had first given him the shoes. He landed near her, his heart racing with anticipation. "Do you remember me, Noah?" she asked with a knowing smile. Noah nodded. "Of course. You gave me these shoes and set me on this path." The woman's eyes softened, and she nodded. "I have been watching you, Noah. Your heart is pure, and your kindness knows no bounds. I am a fairy, sent to test your goodness. I wanted to see if you would use the gift for yourself or for others. You have passed the test." Noah was speechless, but the fairy continued. "As a reward for your selflessness, I grant you these shoes for as long as you live. Use them to help those in need, and your journey will never end." With the fairy's blessing, Noah and Alara continued their work, helping more and more people. But the weight of their responsibilities grew heavier with each passing day. Noah began to feel the strain of constantly giving to others. And he started to wonder if he was neglecting his own needs. One evening, as Noah sat in his workshop, tired and worn, Elara approached him with a concerned look. "You've given so much of yourself, Noah. But what about you? You've helped so many. But who will help you?" Noah sighed, looking at the shoes that had carried him so far. He had never asked for anything in return. But the loneliness and exhaustion were beginning to take their toll. He wasn't sure how much longer he could keep going. Elara smiled gently. "Remember, Noah, kindness doesn't mean you have to give up everything. It's about balance. Help others. But don't forget to take care of yourself." Noah realized that she was right. He had been so focused on helping others that he had forgotten to care for his own heart. With Elara's encouragement, Noah began to take small breaks, finding time for rest and reflection. He learned that even the kindest hearts needed care and compassion. 2. As the years passed, Noah continued his journey, helping others with the magical shoes. He had learned the value of balance, taking time to rest and recharge while still sharing his gift with the world. One day, as he flew over a familiar village, he noticed a group of children playing in the streets. They were laughing and running, their faces full of joy. Noah landed and greeted them, his heart full of pride. "Will you tell us your story, Noah?" one of the children asked. Noah smiled, sitting down with them. "Of course. But remember this, kindness is the greatest gift you can give. Share it freely, and the world will be a better place for it." And so, Noah's legacy of giving continued. His kindness and generosity had touched countless lives. And the magic of the flying shoes lived on. Not just in him, but in the hearts of all those he had helped. Noah's adventures had come to be known far and wide. His name was spoken with reverence, and his deeds echoed in the stories told around campfires and in village homes. As the years passed, Noah grew older, but his heart remained as kind and generous as ever. He had helped countless people, healed the sick, and delivered food and medicine to villages far and wide. His work was tireless, but he never asked for anything in return. The magic of the shoes had allowed him to continue his mission. But it was his unwavering kindness that had made him truly remarkable. One evening, as Noah flew over a lush valley, he noticed a peaceful glimmer on the horizon. The sun was setting, casting a golden light over the world. In that moment, he felt a deep sense of contentment. He had done all he could, and the world was better for it. The shoes, which had carried him on countless journeys, had given him the gift of flight. But it was his heart that had carried him through. As he landed in the valley, Noah saw the same mysterious woman from many years ago. She stood by the edge of the forest, a smile on her lips and a gleam in her eyes. This time, she did not speak immediately, but instead watched him with a knowing gaze, as if she were seeing into the very depths of his soul. "Noah," she said softly, her voice full of warmth, "you have fulfilled your mission. You have used the gift wisely and selflessly. Now, I have one final gift for you, Noah. feeling a sense of peace, stepped forward. "What is it?" he asked gently. The woman smiled. "Your journey is not over. The magic in your heart, your kindness, and your ability to help others will never fade. As long as there are people in need, you will always have the strength to continue. These shoes, which have carried you so far, will be yours forever. But now, it's time for you to pass on the legacy." She extended her hand to Noah, and he felt a deep, comforting warmth radiate from her touch. "I have seen the light in your heart, and it is time for you to guide others who walk the same path you once did. Teach them, share your wisdom, and remind them that kindness is a gift that keeps on giving." Noah, moved by her words, nodded in understanding. He knew that his time had come to leave a legacy even greater than his travels, one of teaching others to be kind and selfless, just as he had been. The shoes, now glowing with an even brighter light, were no longer just a tool for his journey, but a symbol of the compassion that had defined his life. "I will," Noah said quietly, his voice filled with gratitude. "I will pass it on." The woman smiled warmly, her form beginning to fade as the light around them grew brighter. "Remember, Noah, the journey of kindness never ends. It is eternal." With that, she disappeared into the glowing light, leaving Noah standing alone in the valley, the magical shoes at his feet. As Noah gazed out over the valley, he realized that the true magic was not in the shoes themselves, but in the people he had helped and the hearts he had touched. He knew that his journey, though it had spanned many years, would never truly end. The legacy of kindness he had created would continue through others, passed on like a flame from one heart to another. Noah smiled, feeling the weight of the shoes light in his hands. As the stars began to twinkle above him, he took flight once more, ready to continue his mission for as long as the world needed him. And so, the story of Noah, the kind-hearted cobbler with the flying shoes, became a legend that would be told for generations to come. His flight, and the kindness that powered it, would never fade,